Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. So as many of you guys know, I have been on a low buy and then I was on a no buy, which I'm still in right now. So this sort of experience has inspired me to create a low buy slash no buy tag. A low buy in the beauty community is basically when you make a pledge for an unspecified or a specified period of time to buy less makeup. A no buy is when you make a pledge to buy no makeup. So there are many different rules attached to each one of these concepts. Different people have different rules that apply to them and that are specifically structured for their needs. But I was on a low buy first and then I transitioned into a no buy. So if you're watching this video and you're wondering what is a no buy and what is a low buy, I hope this is a good explanation for you. It's basically a way to spend less money and spend less and buy less of makeup in general in favor of using what you already have. I was really inspired by this like no buy, low buy sort of phenomenon that we've been hit with recently, also with my own experience. So this is a relatively short tag. There are only 8 questions, but I felt like this would be very useful to somebody who is already on a no buy slash low buy and might be looking for some advice, or somebody who's already thinking of going on one, or if you're just like me and you love watching tag videos, this is that kind of a video as well. But I'm just going to go right ahead and kick this video off with the very first question. So, how long have you been on your low buy slash no buy? I started a low buy on March 4th, 2019. And around that time, like that was around the time that I had not been buying makeup that much at all for the past few months at that particular point in time. And then a few months later in May, on May 14th, to be exact, I made the decision to go on a no buy. And now it's August, so it's been like a few months since I decided to go on this no buy, and I figured since I was on my low buy, I might as well try a no buy. You know, that was like my mindset or my thought process, and so far, I mean, it's been pretty interesting. So anyway, the next question is, what motivated you to try a low buy slash no buy? So my motivations for both endeavors was the same. I actually started both my low buy and my no buy for very similar reasons, because I wanted to see what I could do with the existing makeup in my collection. I wanted to encourage myself to use more of what I had, and I also wanted to save money when it came to makeup because I noticed that I was spending a lot on makeup and I felt like I wanted to cut back on that and put my money elsewhere. So those were the primary reasons for going on both for me. And I just transitioned from my low buy to my no buy because I was like, you know what? I'm on this low buy. I haven't bought makeup on this low buy, so might as well call it a no buy. Because on my low buy, I was like, you know, I'm like so limited in my options that I'm not seeing anything that I want to actually get. You know, that's what I was thinking when I was on my when I was on my low buy, and I was like, you know what, might as well make this a no buy and see how it goes. The next question that I have is, are there any YouTubers who motivated slash inspired you on your low buy slash no buy journey? Lots of slashes here, but anyway, just to answer the question, I actually have 2 YouTubers in mind specifically that really inspired me when it came to this. The first person is LS. She was a great inspiration to me when it came to making the decision to go on my no buy, because she's actually on a no buy year. And I really do recommend you guys check out LS if you haven't already. She is somebody that I really think inspires me a great deal on this platform, and I love her artistry and I love her methods of applying makeup. It's really interesting. So the fact that she was on a no buy year and she started it, and then I was like watching her videos, that really inspired me to sort of like think about, you know, doing a low buy at the very least. The second person who really inspires and motivates me when it comes to this like low buy slash no buy journey is Angelica Nyqvist. Now, she is currently on her low buy year, so she's not on a no buy, she's on a low buy. I've been following that for quite some time, and I was like really inspired by her specifically especially since she is actually somebody who is not afraid to buy makeup. She was just really interested in, again, I believe her reasons for going on the low buy was because she wanted to make sure that she was using what she had, and also because I think that she was trying to buy less impulsively. And I believe that so far she has really been enjoying this like sort of method of buying less but still buying like either higher priced items or just like more items that she really wants, if that makes any sense. The next question is, what is a positive aspect that you've experienced in your low buy or no buy journey? For me, it's definitely the fact that I have been able to be more creative with my makeup looks and my videos. I think that a great way to get more inspiration is to buy a new eyeshadow palette. And I think that is a really valid way to get inspiration whenever you're like stuck in a makeup rut, or whenever you want to work with like a different style of makeup. But at the same time, being on a low buy or being on a no buy, for me personally, motivates me to take a little bit more of an organic approach to creativity than I had before. Now, if I'm ever in a makeup rut, I don't necessarily go out and buy a new palette or a new makeup item. I literally sit down and I think of new and interesting ways to use what I already have. And it sounds simple, but it's not always that easy. Because sometimes you are just like in this like makeup rut and you don't know what quite to do, and you basically have to think of ways to reinvent the things you already have in your head so you can create like just wonderful makeup looks, essentially. And the second thing, the second point that I want to make that is a really positive aspect is the fact that this has inspired me to be more creative with my content. Before, whenever I would be like questioning like what do I film, what do I create, I would think, okay, I can do a review, or I can do a first impressions, or I can do a tutorial on this brand spanking new palette that I just bought. And that's gonna be a good option for me. So that was like a great way for me to get like new content for my channel whenever I was in a rut. However, once I made the decision to, in particular, just go for a no buy, I realized that you can't necessarily do that when you don't have any new makeup to talk about. Sorry, the sun is like literally shining in my face right now, but I was forced to come up with like new and creative video concepts and ideas. I started doing more tag videos. I definitely feel like I started connecting more with you as a viewer. I started doing more redesigns. I started doing more like mock-ups of different palettes that I had in my head, in my imagination. And I also started this like little, like I would say, series in which I would take new palettes and I would basically pull up the photo on the internet, like on my screen, and I would look inside my own makeup collection and try to find similar colors, try to mix different colors to create a similar color, and basically create a look inspired by that new palette using products that I already had. That's been like a pretty successful video concept on my channel so far, and it's really enjoyable for me because I'm able to look at new makeup in a new and interesting way. It's no longer, oh, I need to get this makeup like palette, or I need to get this makeup product to achieve this look. It's more like, what can I do to be more creative, and what can I do to use what I already have? The next question is, what is a negative aspect that you've experienced in your low buy / no buy? This is actually something that I really wanted to include because I definitely feel like there are some downsides to everything, and specifically being on a low buy or a no buy, and especially being on a no buy, you really start missing out on amazing formulas or great launches. Of course, in this like industry that is so saturated with makeup and so like just overflowing with new ideas and creative concepts, you do have some things that you can dupe in your own collection, and you do have some formulas that are being repeated. However, I strongly believe that companies are definitely improving with nearly every single launch, there are new brands popping up, there are new concepts, there are new ideas popping up, there are new formulas that are being used. I was at the mall and I went into Riley Rose, which is a makeup store that stocks indie brands, and I started swatching all of these like indie brands palettes that I didn't even have, but of course that I really wanted, but I couldn't necessarily buy because of this no buy. I felt like so many of these palettes were so different from the palettes that I already had, and I kind of like felt like a really bad case of FOMO, you know? Because there's so many different amazing things about being on a no buy, and I'm talking about a no buy because that's what I am on right now, but at the same time you are missing out, and that doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing, but like in most scenarios, in my opinion, it is not the most fun thing to be missing out on like a new formula. Do you think a low buy / no buy is beneficial for everyone? Why or why not? I actually made up this question because I thought it would be a very like ambiguous one that a lot of people would have different perspectives on. My perspective is that it all depends on your current consumerism habits, if you will. If you are already a minimalist and you already have like very little possessions and you feel comfortable in the way you're buying things and you don't have a lot of makeup to begin with, then like going on a no buy or a no buy in some circumstances might be unnecessary for you because you might already be in that habit of buying less. But I think that if you're the average consumer, especially here living in the US, I see so much stuff that so many people own, and that is the same, like I'm guilty of this too. Like I have I'm sitting here in my room and honestly I'm just looking at how much stuff I have and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to I can't believe that in some way, shape, or form I have accumulated all of this, you know? Not everyone needs to go on a no buy. It's not realistic. You should enjoy life. You should enjoy what you have. I think that's healthy. But at the same time, I think that everybody should at least try to cut back on what they're spending, try to cut back on what they're buying, because we live in such like a consumer-oriented world. It's becoming a little bit I feel like we're like devaluing the true value or the true cost of material goods if we just keep on accumulating more and more of them. And I think that for that reason, I think everyone should at least try to cut back in some regards, not just for makeup, for almost every other aspect of life. The next question is, what is some advice that you have to people starting a low buy or a no buy? My piece of advice, this is gonna sound really random and kind of weird, but I would say try and consume less consumer-oriented content. When I was starting out with my like low buy, no buy experience, I realized that if I was like watching haul videos, like this is me personally, I would just like feel like a really bad case of FOMO. Now it's okay, like now I'm sort of like used to being in this mindset and I don't really watch haul videos, and I'm back to watching haul videos. But my point is, try to find some content that you enjoy that is not so consumer oriented, that is not meant to get you to buy something, you know, because you're going to feel like you're left out if you're me, and you're going to feel like you need that item or you need to buy that item when you really don't, because you're on this no buy and you don't need to. Also, I would suggest looking within your existing makeup collection, taking out every single thing you own and swatching it. Maybe like not do it all at once because some of us have quite large collections, but just go category by category, take everything out, swatch it, see what you like, see what you don't like, see what you've used, see what you haven't used in a while. Try to rediscover your stash, because when you do that, that's almost like sort of like that does two things. That encourages you to use what you already have, but it also kind of tricks your brain into thinking that you have like a brand new thing to have fun with. What have you learned from this experience? Creativity. I've learned that I don't need to buy makeup to be a makeup lover. And I've also learned a lot about what I like and what I don't like when it comes to makeup. And it's weird that I've learned that from not buying makeup, but when you like are forced to use the things that you have in your collection, you really start to get a sense of your preferences and different nuances that that you discover with formulas, with colors, products, etc. And you really start to hone in on your preferences. Because when you start buying a lot of makeup, when you start buying any makeup, it is my belief that it is quite easy to get overwhelmed and to get sucked in into what people think you should be getting and to what the trends say. Does that make any sense? However, if you're left to your own devices and you get to pick up whatever you have in your collection and you can pick up whatever you want to pick up, you get to really get a sense of what you like and what you prefer. And I know I'm not going to be on this no buy forever. I mean, I definitely see myself quitting it at some point. However, I do know that when I get out of this no buy, I will definitely have had a good chance to look at makeup in a new and fresh light so I can make better and really just wiser purchasing decisions in the future, especially when it comes to makeup. The lighting in this video is just abysmal. I'm very sorry about that aspect of things, but let me just like scoot back. Maybe that will help. Okay, yeah, that helps a little bit, but now my boob is lit up. But yeah, that is pretty much the end of this video. Those were all my tag questions, all 8 of them. I will put them down below in case you guys want to do this tag yourselves. I would really, really love it if you did. And I hope this gave you guys a good perspective of the different nuances and the positives and negatives of being on a low buy or being on a no buy. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for watching until the end of this very long and rambly video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye guys.